Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we bring in Squeak Feister, state champion. What's up, dude?
What up? What up?
Hey, thanks. Before I bounce, I got to say thanks for joining us. We're so excited to have you here. And naturally, from a standpoint of the YSN coverage area, the YSN family, to bring home that state championship, man. Incredibly proud of you. Congratulations, pal.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, man. Thank you.
All right, boys, it's all yours. Go ahead, Gare.
Well, I'm just going to start with the obvious, man. How are you feeling to this week? It's kind of set in. You got home from Columbus, back into your regular routines. You feel any different?
Um, a little bit. I feel a little bit different, but for the most part, I just had to go out there and it's business as usual. Go out there and get it done.
I want to talk about the moment, right? The moment you realized you were state champion. We have great celebration pictures from it, of course. What was that kind of like for you? What was the first couple of things that went through your head when the bell rang and hey, I'm a state champion?
My first thought was look in the stands and find my mom, and I found her.
So I'm looking, at the bracket here, and especially in this finals match, you got that takedown, about 27 seconds left. Describe that last minute for me? You're down, then you're up, and then you're trying to, persevere through that last 33 seconds or so.
It's tied up, and they gave him a call with the crossface unnecessary roughness, and I knew I wasn't going to turn him. So I trusted my gut. I went on my feet, and I just knew I had to go through him. I wasn't going to let him stop me, so that's what I did.
How did you mentally prepare for the state meet? As I was saying in the intro, it's a grueling weekend. You have a lot of wrestling to do within a 3-day period down in Columbus against the best wrestlers in the state. How did you kind of mentally prepare for what you were going to see down in Columbus?
I just like to keep it calm, cool, and collected. So the week building up to it, I was overworking myself, and I was making sure that I was getting right.
Every week when we have a guest on the show, I always ask, who is your drilling partner? No great wrestler goes without a great drilling partner, but I have a feeling who you're going to say.
You already know the answer.
Yeah, I know the answer to that. So tell me about him. Tell me about your brother. Why? What is it about him that makes you a better wrestler, and what is it about him that makes him a great wrestler?
Just every day, me and him going back and forth, and just both wanting to get better, and we both know what each other do. So, we can counter that and make sure that we work to get something else. And we just push each other past the limit that anybody else could push us.
How competitive do you two get with each other in the wrestling room and working with each other, like you said?
We get very competitive. We both don't like to lose, so when we're in there, we're wrestling to win, even though we're brothers. When it comes down to it, we're brothers.
So I'm sure you wrestled in a lot of big tournaments in your life. These days you can get to a big tournament all around the country, just about any time of the year. How did this state tournament compare to some of the other big tournaments you've been in your life?
This one had some special meaning to it because I had promised my mom and my dad and a lot of people that I was going to be a 4-timer and I was going to break that 44-year drought. And, I had to go out there and I had to get it done. So it meant a lot to me, and it was pretty big.
When you think about all the goals that you've set this year, and we're talking about when you get into the top of the mountain, but it's been a long year just to get from plan A to plan B at the start and to the finish. What were some of the keys to getting through the long wrestling season? What were some adversities that you had to face, and how did you kind of get through
them? Well, a big adversity I had to face was when I got sick and I couldn't eat for 2 weeks, and I had to come back with ammonia and wrestle. And I just had to push myself in the room. I just had to really give myself a talk and, wonder if I really wanted it.
Okay, so you mentioned you lost some weight. So
Yeah.
You might not have had much problem making weight this year,
Yeah.
at least after you got sick. How about before you got sick? I ask this every week. What's your post weigh-in meal?
So post weigh-in meal, after I weigh in, I'm always eating a big steak, a potato, and I'm taking a protein shake.
Oh.
And before I got sick, I was roughly like 207, wrestling 215. But when I got sick, I dropped down to like 180, and I was just trying to put weight back on.
Wow. All the way down to 180. He was really sick then, man.
I mean, kidding. We're talking about food. While we're talking about food, what's your guilty pleasure food? Like the one that, like, maybe not the best for you, but every now and then you treat yourself to this snack or this dessert or whatever it may be.
I have a specific snack that I really like, and it's Hudsonville brand ice cream, blue moon flavor. I can sit there and eat a tub of it.
Yeah. These are some unique answers here today. A steak,
Yeah,
a
I love
potato, Anthony, man. This specific ice cream, I like this.
Yeah, we haven't gotten steak and potato yet.
No, that's a first. We have a lot of unique foods this year. So you've got we've got a long high school career left. How are you keeping yourself motivated? You're already to the top, at least it's statewide. Something every kid dreams of. How are you going to keep yourself mentally sharp moving forward?
In my mind, it's just stay humble, because anything can happen. I could get sick again. I could get injured again. Knock on wood. But anything can happen. So just stay humble and keep working. Keep your head down. Stay low.
When we talk to Hoban athletes, no matter what the sport is, I always like asking about what it's like to be a part of this Hoban room and the Hoban tradition. And we've seen so many amazing athletes come through this night's program, whether it be wrestling, football, volleyball, basketball, it doesn't matter. What's it like to kind of look around and see the tradition of Hoban and now kind of put yourself into that tradition? Your legacy is locked in already.
Hoban's a great place. And if you're looking to, shine even later in life, it doesn't even have to be sports. It can be anything. It can be just getting a job here. Hoban, they'll look out for you. It's a family here. It's for sure a family here.
So you wrestled Gabe Miller in the finals. He's a great wrestler, really, really tough wrestler, tough kid. And correct me if I'm wrong, he beat you the week before district finals, right?
Yep, beat me at districts.
So what kind of mentality did you take in to kind of push that to the side and keep yourself confident?
When I lost that match, it hit me. It hit me hard. And after I lost that match, that whole week leading up to state after that, I wasn't doing nothing, but I was working, just working. Always in the gym, always on the mat. And I knew I prepared.
You can be real with us. When his name popped up, was there a little bit of revenge kind of getting in your mind, a little bit of anger about that district final? Was that kind of creeping into your emotions a little bit?
Yeah. I had an interview where I definitely spoke my mind about it. But, yeah.
Hey, you need those kind of guys in your life and in the bracket to keep you up and to keep you sharp. And you said you put your head down and you just grinded that whole time. That's the true testament of somebody that's wrestled and knows what the sport is. So as you go on in your career, do you think you're going to continue to just keep your head down and not look at anything but the match that's in front of you? Or do you got bigger goals coming up?
That's the plan. Just take it one match at a time and get it done. Handle business as you should.
When you have this kind of success, whether you like it or not, you're automatically a role model. People are going to be looking up to you. And there's a lot of little kids probably in the Hoban community that are getting into wrestling that say that they want to be like you when they grow up. What's that kind of like to kind of feel that and to kind of, realize that there are going to be people now looking up to you and what you do?
That feeling's great. And ever since, me and my brother started getting really good at sports, we realized that we're going to be under a microscope and everybody's going to be watching. So I like to set a great example for people, and even the little kids that look up to me, if they want a picture or anything, I'll just do it for them and I'll let them know.
And then to flip that around, who are some guys or girls that you looked up to when you were getting into this sport that you wanted to kind of mold your game after?
To be honest, like I have my role models like Gable Stevenson. He's a big guy, but to be honest, you probably haven't got this one with role models yet. But my dad, he worked his whole life away to make sure we were the best at what we do, and I just wanted to make sure I was doing what he wanted me to.
Gable Stevenson, man, that's a good wrestler to have as somebody you're looking up to. Probably, maybe the greatest heavyweight college wrestler ever. Explosive. It just nobody can touch him on his feet. He just is too good. So, did you model some of your takedowns after him? What is it about him that drew you to him?
His mentality, just the way he talks about himself and the way he carries himself in the room, outside of the room, off the mat, on the mat. He just, he has that level of confidence to where he knows that he'll win.
Yeah, and he's not one of those 315-pound heavyweights that have to cut down to 285. He's probably walking around about 240. So, I mean, that probably drew you to him too, knowing that, hey, you don't have to be 6'5", 315 in the offseason to win at these heavier weights. You can be athletic and just outwork the guys on the mat.
Yeah.
When you think about things that you have on your future goal board, your dreams, your aspirations, things you want to be, things you want to get to, what are some of those things, whether it be in wrestling, whether it be in life? What are some things that you see for yourself in the future?
I just want to get that 4-timer for my dad. I definitely for sure want to go to college, get a degree, and just for my mom, because, she wants me to go get a degree and work a good job.
Better answer that phone.
So you mentioned your dad. Is he the one that got you guys into wrestling?
Actually, no. So, do you guys watch UFC and whatnot?
Yeah.
You
Absolutely.
guys know Cody No Love Garbrandt?
Yep.
So he was really good friends with my dad growing up when he grew up in Yorksville. And my brother, he wanted to fight MMA, and my dad said he started out as a wrestler, and that's how our first wrestling thing happened.
Yeah. So your dad from Claymont then? Or
No,
close?
he went to Indian Valley, but
Okay.
he had friends. He lived in Yorksville and whatnot.
Oh, okay. So then I can't ask the next question: who wins in the round robin wrestling match at home? You, your brother, or your dad?
Well, I'll tell you this much: my dad is definitely lasting 30 seconds, and then he's done.
Pretty normal. Pretty normal for dads. You just got to survive 30 seconds with them, and you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
That first 30.
Survive it. Squeak, I want to talk about all the coaches you've had in your life. You've been coached by a lot of different people as well, whether it be wrestling or the other sports that you play. What has that done for you to be able to learn from a bunch of different people and different philosophies?
Just getting different perspectives is always good. Different techniques. Some people run things differently, like different techniques for the same move. And, not everything's for everybody. So you just got to find your style and find your technique, and, doing that make you the best.
What coaching style fits you the best? Like, what kind of coach gets the most out of you, do you think?
I'd say a hard, grueling coach. A coach that's he's not going to, pity-patty around the point. He's going to let you know, and he's going to make you work. So definitely a more hardcore coach. And, yeah.
All right, last question from me. What is it that you do in your free time when you're not focused on the mat to kind of give yourself a mental break, a physical break? Do you have hobbies? Do you have shows you watch? What is it that you do to kind of chill out?
I have a big thing. If I'm trying to ease my mind or just get out of the moment, I just go get food. I'll go to a random gas station and get some food that I can warm up. It's just my thing. I just love to eat. So anything I can do to just go get some food, it just take my mind off everything.
Great answer. Great answer.
Yes, awesome answer. We can't let you go without hearing the story about this nickname you've told us. Everyone except your mom calls you Squeak. You said your mom calls you your government name. Where did Squeak come from?
So as a baby, I never really cried for things. Like, you know how most babies don't cry and whatnot. I never really cried. I made like this squeaking noise. And anytime I wanted anything, I would just make a squeaking noise and like try to get it. So that's how this name Squeak came.
So you've been Squeak since you were a babe, and you've never been able
Mhm.
to escape. Did it take some getting used to? Did you like it at first, or is it just something that you roll with now?
Well, at first when I was actually a little Squeak, and I wasn't 6'3", 6'4", I didn't like it too much because I was small. But now that I'm bigger, it's grown on me, and yeah, I love it now.
You're a big Squeak now.
Yeah.
Oh man, love it, love it, love it, Squeak. Thank you so much for coming on. First and foremost, we want to congratulate you on all your success that you've had so far. We know you have so much left in the tank as well. We can't wait to follow you your whole career on here on YSN and highlight you time and time again for every accomplishment you have. We want to thank you so much for coming on and talking to us about this year and your state championship. And you ever need anything, you always get a hold of YSN. We'll take care of you. All right.
Yeah. Thank y'all for having me on, and I really appreciate your time.
No, you got it. We appreciate your time so much.
Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for coming on.
Squeak Feister coming on with us, state champion from Hoban. Gary, when you think about state championships, I mean, we had a lot of very successful wrestlers go down to Columbus, but only one got that final win to get a state championship. DJ asked me this a little bit earlier. I'll ask you the same thing. What was your kind of takeaway from our time at Columbus from a YSN perspective?
Oh, I think the network did great. Lot of kids on the podium, and we've talked to it's our fourth year. We've talked to how many different wrestlers, and we've interviewed coaches, and we've got how many schools in the network? 60 something schools in the network.
Yeah.
And we had one kid who was able to get on top, and that's Squeak. He was able to get through, push through, get that takedown with 27 seconds left. He just gutted it out and just basically probably put in his head, hey, I'm not losing this match. I don't care what happens. And that's the kind of mentality you have to have. And even if you have that mentality, sometimes it doesn't work out. So that just shows you how hard it is in the state of Ohio to win a state championship at this sport. You've got to be the best, not only in your weight class, in your division, not only that day, but that minute, you've got to be the best. That 27-second period, you've got to be the best. And not many people get to claim that now for his rest of his life. He will always be a state champion.
He's a dog. I mean, an absolute like dog mentality. Everything he does. I mean, he was in the middle of an interview. Somebody's calling, probably trying to call their kid off sick for the day. And Squeak just picks up the phone and hammers it down. Like he's officially got the job as the YSN receptionist because that's the kind of guy. That's the mentality I need from a receptionist at YSN.
Hey, that's so funny you say that, DJ, because I texted Chris Colucci after his semis match, and I just wrote Feister's a dog. And that's what Chris wrote back, the same thing. So he's nasty, man. He's fun to watch. He's just going to go after it. And those would make the best wrestlers.
The whole time he hung up that phone, I'm like, he don't care about nobody. He don't care. He's like, this is my time.
This is my time.
And he hammered that sucker down. Yeah. I'm so happy that he was able to spend some time. Obviously, Big Brother just got his 15th offer to play Division I football.
Wow.
So, he's going to be on, I'm sure, at some point in the coming months on YSN. We got to speak to him a little bit before we went on the air. And, dude, the funniest thing about all of this, and he kind of alluded to, he tap danced around, did a good job. Interview was a phenomenal interview by Squeak. But, dude, some of these cats that are down at wrestling in Columbus, they just wrapped these guys right off the mat and stuck a camera in their face and just like Squeak I watched an interview. He's got blood in his mouth, like he's sucking wind, and this guy's like asking him like ACT questions about what he's supposed to be doing, and I'm like, let the kid breathe. Like he's like, when's your birthday? He's like, I just had a birthday. It was yesterday. And then he just goes to another question. He's done a phenomenal job on and off the mat, on and off the football field. Like I said, a great family. In people, I mean, these two are I'm going to say it. They're going to be in the NFL. We're going to be talking about them, and it's
Nice.
going to be like we remember them when. And like I said, they're always welcome here on YSN, and
Heck yeah.
we have a different way of interviewing than most people. Like, I'm not going to pull him off the mat after he's exhausted, or start hammering his brother with questions in the corner of Schottenstein, and be like, "Where are you going to college? Where's your top 5?" Like, no, like it was actually, I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh my, I felt bad for him, and part of me is like, I mean, Gare, I'm not like the biggest wrestling guy ever. I'm trying, but I would have given that dude a rock bottom and been like, "That's it,
That's it. We're done.
Interview's over, pal. You just met the final boss."
The same guy put a camera in Paige Cowan's face after she won the against the reigning state champion, but she's on the ground getting her ankle taped in obvious pain, and he just puts the camera right in her face. He did not want to be interviewed at that moment. He didn't care.
I mean,
you're catching guys at their most raw. I mean, you come off of. I mean, you have nothing. Especially the state tournament, you got nothing left in there. So you're going to be no filter. This is who I am. This is, and sometimes you're going to get, I don't know, because at that point you don't even know where you are. You left everything on the mat. Coming asking me when's my birthday, or where you gonna take your accounting class your freshman year in college. Like, are you serious, man? Like,
he's like, "Oh, how old are you?" He's like, "I just had my 16th birthday." And like literally yesterday, and the guy, like, there was no follow-up question to that. There was no reason.
Not even happy birthday, buddy.
Yeah, not even. He didn't sing happy birthday. He didn't do any of that. Like, there was no cake, I don't think. I mean, we can check with Squeak, but I'm pretty sure there was no cake given on the floor. But like, it's like these guys are insane. They're like some of these dudes that end up on the. And Gary, here's the other thing. This cat, his stuff's out on YouTube. He has both finals for the Feister boys, and he's calling them like he's Jim Ross, like on the sideline. It was wild to me. It was absolutely insane. And again, that was not to make fun of the journalist. It was to say how good the Feister boys did during those interviews, because, I mean, this dude was in their grill, like right after the match. And, Squeak, I think I'm trying to put these together like puzzle pieces. Brayton was being interviewed and Squeak was on the mat, and Brayton's trying to watch his brother, and this guy's just interviewing him, just like question after question after question. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, if there's another question, this dude is going to be thrown across Schottenstein Center. Like, it's going to happen, because, again, I think the world and certainly Ohio is finding out that the Feister boys are not someone to be trifled with. So
those interviews, they are like the UFC. They get these guys right after these 5-round fights. People, there's a good human connection there. Because you're visualizing, you're thinking, man, what would it be like to be in that position? And so you get to see these people, just these kids, these boys, these girls, just, hey, this is who I am. Here I am after this win. This is how I feel. These are my emotions. So there's definitely something to be said about interviewing like that.
They're still kids, though. That's the biggest thing. And I guess that's the real reason we're talking about, is because they did a great job. They didn't let anything get to them. And, in a moment there, they can be a viral sensation for all the wrong reasons. And they did.
Right.
So, hey, that's why we love them. The Feister boys, always welcome here on YSN. Congratulations, Squeak, state champion. And, dude, 4-time. Can you imagine? And he's already talking about it. He's already talking about it, which means he's manifesting it right in the back of his mind and pushing it to the forefront. 4-time state champion. Dude, that would be unbelievable. Imagine what would happen if they tried to call in after the 4th state championship. Like, that phone's ringing. He's going to snap that baby off like a Slim Jim, like Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah.
So, hey, Squeak, we appreciate you, man. Thanks so much for stopping by. Tell Big Bro we're going to be calling him real soon, and getting it. Gary, let's do a quick wrap of Wrestling Wednesdays for the year, man. You guys did an excellent job. Raised the bar yet again on what we do here from a coverage standpoint at YSN for wrestling. What's your grade if you're the prof? What's the grade for what you guys did this year?
Oh, for Wrestling Wednesday,
Yeah.
I give us an A. Don't want to give an A plus because there's always room for improvement, but I think we did a good job. I think we do the best job that we can. Anthony does a great job of trying to get the kids on here to interview, which is not easy to do, by the way. Trying to work around their school schedules and everything that's happening during the day to get them on here at 12 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon is not easy. So hats off to him. That takes a lot of phone calls and messages and back and forth. And the technology is never cooperates. So I think we get an A. I give ourselves an A, and I think we're just going to continue to get better, especially with wrestlers like Squeak and his brother. I think the bar is getting raised in this sport on this network, that we are just continuing to see better and better wrestlers. And it's just such a great thing for the sport. I said that from day one when we started this show 4 years ago, that the more exposure we can get for these kids on the mat, the better, because I think now everybody's seeing just how tough it is to be a wrestler, just how tough it is to get to the state tournament, and just how nearly impossible it is to be a state champion and to get on the podium in Ohio. So I think that the kids appreciate it and the community appreciates it. And I just hope for good things to continue and better things to come.
Yeah, Gary, and when we recap just the state tournament as a whole for YSN, just some names to shout out. I'm going through the YSN Wrestling Twitter to make sure I can get some of the names that had really good weekends. Tristan Eccles from East Liverpool wrestled really well. Aiden Stecker from Salem. I mean, they'd had a really good program all season long. He got into the third place match. Paige Cowan, as we said, beat the reigning state champion in her run. Unfortunately, in the third place in the semifinals, she had to have a medical forfeit in the semi, so she couldn't really get herself to that championship round. But I think if she's healthy, I think she has a legitimate chance to win a state championship.
Yeah, she beat
state champ.
An undefeated number one ranked reigning state champ, and it wasn't the final score wasn't close either. Paige, she did a great job. It's just a shame she hurt her ankle and just couldn't really give her best out there after that. But heck, she's still got a couple of years left. She did great.
Ella Thomas got another third place finish, so that's back-to-back top 3 finishes for her in her first 2 years as a wrestler from Poland. You got Beaver Local had just a day. Like their whole program had a day. How about the freshman who we had on, Jake Hughes? He finished his third as a freshman. He had a good wrestling performance. Bobby Buhite, awesome performance again from him. I think he went 6th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
6th place in the state. You had Kane Curran. He was able to finish 7th. So a lot of really impressive wrestlers. If I'm probably missing a couple. We've had a lot of placers, but just to highlight some of the names that had big weekends down there in Columbus.
Yeah, on the girls' side, Dakota McCracken, I think she's a 4-time placer now.
Yep.
For United. Austin Brown placed again for them.
Ian Koch, who came on and gave us her time. She was able to place as a freshman as well.
Yes, she did great. Yeah, it was just really a great weekend for the network and for all the kids that went there. I think that I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think we did better than last year.
Yeah,
as a network, I really think we did. I think we did better than last year, and I think we had. I haven't done the count, but the amount of kids that were in the semifinals, which means you're one match away from the finals. I don't know how many there were, but there were a lot. So, and a lot of them gutted through the blood round match, which is the match to see, if you win this match, you're going to be on the podium. A lot of them won close matches. Were able to push through and get to that guaranteed top 8 spot.
Chris Colucci saying he had a blast. It was a great weekend.
Those guys were everywhere, man. We had great interviews on our Instagram page, or on their Instagram page, I should say. Chris Colucci with the camera is a master. He's a photographer. I didn't even know it.
Let's not blow his head up too big.
He
All
took
right.
great pictures. The Twitter was bumping. We had updates from every match that involved the YSN wrestler as well. So the team down there that Chris took down there did a wonderful job.
No, they did exactly what I expected them to do, and then some. I mean, they were incredible. And when you see, people don't realize. I mean, Chris Colucci's a big fella, right? But he's only like 19, 20 years old. right? He just graduated high school, and he's the one that's kind of taking the bull by the horns and like, hey, I want to go down to Columbus. I want to do this. I want to do this. And he did it. And he did it with a lot of maturity. He did it with a lot of integrity. And we're super proud of what he's able to bring to the table. Because without Gary, without Chris, I'll be honest, there is no coverage. There is none, because you got to have a passion for it. You got to know what you're talking about, because the one thing I told both of you guys was, like, we're not just going to do this to do it. Like, there's got to be a purpose behind it. Wrestling Wednesdays were created. I think that has been an absolute home run. I know, wrong sport, but an absolute takedown, I guess. There we go.
There you go.
But you guys have killed it, man. And you talk about the YSN wrestlers, and they got better from last year to this year. I think this one, from last year to this year, from our whole wrestling program, has really, really, really sent it to another dimension. I mean, we're not where we want to be, right? But I think that we're a long way from where we started, and that's something big. And they continue to improve every year. And Gary, your continued diligence every single. I mean, anytime we ask you, right? It's not just Wednesdays. And there's a lot of prep that goes into this that you have to prep for Wednesdays, because you got a lot on your plate as it is, man. You're a coach. You're a legend, number one, but you're a coach on top of everything else. Thank you. Chris Colucci, thank you. Joe Murray, thank you very much. Ty Stricko, thank you very much. Interestingly enough, I think we just did an interview with Ty Stricko, baseball wise. So thank you, Chris Colucci. Appreciate you, and certainly we are becoming one of those the spots that you come for wrestling whenever you want the truth, the information, and what we call journalism.
Journalism at the peak. Gary, I say this at the end of every Wrestling Wednesday season. When we started this 4 years ago, I knew nothing about the sport. The questions that I was asking Gary in the first season of Wrestling Wednesday were off the wall. I was like, what's this? What's this? Can you do this? And we've gotten to a point when I think, I'm not a wrestling expert by any means, but you've kind of guided me along this journey where I can ask these wrestlers some questions too. And we appreciate what you bring to those interviews and what you're able to do for the coverage of these kids. So I know DJ said thank you. I'm going to say thank you too, because for 3.5 years before this YSN Live podcast, it was you and me on Running Point, and we're doing a great job. Like you said, there's plenty of things that I want to do next year to do a little bit better, and I'm excited for next season.
I'll be here as long as you guys want me.
Oh, you're never leaving then.
Yeah, you're never leaving. That's it. We're done. You're locked in.
We're going to take you into a cabin in the woods, buddy. You ain't getting out. Gary, we love you, man.
You guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you a million times over. You're the best there is, buddy. Thank you. Right, and we'll talk real soon, okay?
All right, guys. Take care.